Hey guys, I hope you're doing great today. This is our chapter number 22 in which we are going to discuss about what is a Git branch. Guys, that would be a little tiny mini Git course in which we have covered 3 chapters already. The first chapter was about what is Git, and the second chapter was how Git works, and the third chapter was the 30 important Git terminologies you must know as a DevOps engineer. So now we have the basics cleared about Git, how Git works, and the 30 important terminologies like Git rebase, Git merge, Git clone, cherry pick, Git pull, Git push, branches, etc. What do we mean by git pull? What do we mean by origin, commit, etc.? So these 30 important terminologies that you must know as a DevOps engineer. And there was one of the terminology I have given a brief overview since we have to cover the other Git terminologies. It was Git branch. So I thought that I should prepare and give a full-fledged lecture on Git branches. So the wait is over and today we are going to talk about Git branches. So let's get started. So guys, if you are asked to define Git branch, what is the simplest definition of Git branch? So the simplest definition of a Git branch is that it is a copy of your main repository. It is a working copy of your main repository. So you can or I can create as many copies as I want. The other definition is that a branch is an independent line of development. A branch is an independent line of development. For instance, if I have this main project with main as the main branch. Now if I want to create branch A, I want to create branch B or C and so on, then if all the branches are created from the main branch, then they will have the every content of the main branch in each A, B and C branch. So we can say that each branch is the copy of the main repository. But the question is, why should we create a new branch every time? Though we have our working code in our main branch, or we can say it a master branch. Main and master branches are almost the same, just a difference in the naming convention. So why I'm creating the branch A? Why do we have to create the branch B or C or any other branch? And the main reason is whether we have to work on a new feature or we have to work or fix any bug in our code, whether it is a small feature or a small bug, or whether it is a large feature or a large bug in our code, in our repository, we have to spawn or we have to create a new branch every time. And when that branch is created, we can fix our bug, we can create our new feature, and we can encapsulate our changes in that new branch. So my fellas, this is not at all recommended practice to work directly on the main branch. This is actually the stable code, the working code, and we never have to touch the code in our main or master branch. Every time I have to work on some new feature, or every time I have to fix a bug, I will create a new separate branch. Okay, now for instance, I have created that branch and I have fixed the bug and my feature is ready or my bug has been fixed. Now what? For instance, I was working on some feature in branch A and my feature has been ready and it has been tested. So after that, when that feature is ready, the code of that branch is actually merged into the main branch. So that is how development works. For new features, for bug fixes, we created multiple branches, and after the successful testing, those branches or the code is merged with the main and master branch. So the code on the main and master branches is never touched. It is the final and fully functional code we have on main or master branches. So guys, for instance, this is our main project tree. So this is our project tree and this is our main branch. Every time I have to create or work on a new feature, I will create a new feature branch. This is my feature. So I thought I should share it graphically. And for instance, this is some feature 1, and for feature 2 I will create a new another branch. For instance, this is a small feature and this is a large feature. Every time this is the separate branch and this is separate, and when the code is tested on these branches, it is finally merged into the main branch. So guys, you can see that main is an independent branch. We never directly work on the main branch and we never touch the code on our main branch. So every time I have to work on a new feature, I will definitely create a new separate branch. So that is actually the graphical representation of how we should create branches, and this is actually the recommended practice to create a separate branch for your features, and when the code is properly tested, that code is merged into the main branch. So that is actually the core branching strategy you must know. Another feature of creating branches is, for instance, this is my project. Now you can see that multiple features are being developed in parallel using branches. So that is also one of the biggest advantages or benefits of creating branches, that we can work on multiple features at the same time. If we have to fix a bug, I can create a new branch. So multiple features, multiple bugs are fixed and created at the same time in parallel using branches. Alright guys, now let's talk about some branch naming conventions in professional organization, and we will actually check on open source Git repositories and how their branch naming convention. So normally it is the practice to create branch namings like we have QA, we have dev and prod, and now after that this is actually the branch naming convention 1 2 3 4, and that's how we create branches. And for releases, this is actually the proper format that how we should create release branches at 1.0.1 2 3 4, and that's how we proceed further and we start creating branches. And there should be a separate branching for features. This is for releases, this is for features, and similarly we can create for hot fixing bugs like bug 1.0.1, and that's how we can create branches. So normally this is the practice to create branches, and developers create branch and then they start working. And also we should keep in mind that some branches are team specific. On a single project there are definitely a QA team is also working on that project, development team, software engineering team, front end team, back end team. So these are actually to differentiate that this branch is related with the QA team. So another example that was observed in one of my last companies is that for backend it was like 1.1.1 etc. So for front end, and that was all for the same project, and all these branches for one repository. And backend team was creating branches like this. I mean, that was their naming convention. And for front end team, the branching names were started with front end, and that's how the branch number. And for QA, dev, prod, and also there were branches for features. For final releases they were using release. When that code is properly tested and we have a new release to be released, and that was actually with release. And if there is any bug in the code and that has to be fixed by the development team, so the branch was created with bug 1.0.1 2 3 4 5 6 and so on. So guys, this is actually the professional way, and you can say that this should be the branching strategy to create branches that are concerned with the respective team. And also it makes it simpler that, for instance, if this is a backend branch, then it must be worked on by the backend team. All this is being handled on a single project. And by the way guys, we can add collaborators on a single branch from multiple teams. For instance, if there is an issue on any front end, for instance, branch, then we can have developers from the backend team, from the QA team, and we can add them as collaborators on this front end branch. So that is actually happening in any project, software development project. We can add multiple branches, we can add multiple collaborators, and this branching strategy makes it easier, makes it simpler to understand that who is working on which branch. And this is not for a tiny project, this is actually a large project where there are hundreds of developers, backend, front end, and full stack developers, and also QA team members are working on a single project. Then these naming strategies, branching strategies, make it easy to track the issues and to boost the project performance. Alright fellas, it is time for our lab session in which we are going to play with Git branches. Alright guys, this is my repository that we created in our second lecture, how Git works. And you saw that we created a couple of files just to play with how Git works. So first of all, we have only one branch on this Git repository. This is my local repository. DevOps repo is my actually local repository, but we pushed this repository to GitHub as well. And now this is our remote repository. Okay, the repository on my VM is local repository, and now this is the same DevOps repository. It is my remote repository on GitHub. So you can see that I have only this one master branch, and we can check it here as well, Git branch. So there is only one branch and it is on master. This status actually points which is your actual branch right now. So I am at master branch, and we will see how we check out and this status point to a new other branch. So Git status, we can see that our working tree is clean and our branch is up to date with origin master. So the Git status is showing that we are on master branch, and also from Git branch we know that our branch is master and our working tree is clean, there is nothing to commit. So all these files are actually in the master branch. Okay, these are actually in master branch. Now let's create our first branch. For instance, Git branch and the branch name. This command will create a new branch. For instance, this is my new feature one branch. I'm creating this new branch. So the command is git branch and the branch name. Git branch and your branch name, and we will have a new branch created. So Git branch, and now you can see that we have actually two branches. Okay, and similarly, if I want to create a new branch, again feature 2, then we can see Git branch dash hyphen list will actually also list down all the branches, or we just simply run git branch to know how many branches do we have. So similarly, if I create a new branch, bug 1.0 and git branch release hyphen 1.0.1, so we can see now we have a lot of branches, but our pointer, it means that we are still pointed at our master branch, and the status is mean that you're actually at master branch. So in order to switch among different branches, we can use git checkout command. So for instance, if I want to switch to release 1.01, I am going to work on some project, okay, then I can run git checkout command and the branch name, okay, git checkout branch name, and you can see we have switched to branch release point this 1.0.1. Now our status or pointer must be pointed towards release, git status, and we can see that we are already on branch 1.0.1, and git branch will also let us know, it will also tell us that your pointer is pointed towards this branch. So guys, that's how we can switch among different branches, but there are no comments in this branch. It is a branch, it is a brand new branch. You saw that I just created, and there must be nothing in this branch. We can see there is nothing to commit, working tree is clean. Now I can use git checkout to switch from this branch to feature one. This is just practice, guys. You can see we are just practicing how we can switch among different branches. Now we can check git status, we are now on feature one, and also git branch also shows that our status is pointing towards feature one. So that's how we can switch among different branches. So you saw that we had only one master branch on this repository, and then we created around 3 or 4 different branches: feature branch, release branch, bug branch. Then we switched among different branches. I switched from master to release, then from release to feature, and from feature to bug. That's how we can use git checkout command to switch among different branches. Now there is one important thing that I want to let you know, that still we have only one master branch here. We don't have other branches. You saw, if I click on view all branches, I have only one master branch. So I have to use a new command to push these branches to my GitHub, to my remote repository. These branches are actually created on my local repository. Now I want to switch all these branches to my remote origin. So my remote repository is this one, okay. I have this is my actually remote repository on GitHub. So I have to push all these branches to my remote repository. Then I would have to use a different command to push these branches to my remote repository. We have all these branches on our local repository. So now guys, let me show you something really interesting. You saw that we have these branches on our local repository, but we do not have these branches here on our remote repository, and therefore I want to push all these branches here on our remote repository. I can use the git push command, but this is not the full command that we can use. We will use this command, git push set upstream origin feature one. Now since I am at feature one branch and I want to push this branch from my local repository to my remote repository. Remote repository is my DevOps repo on GitHub. So I will run this command, and it will definitely ask for our token. So guys, you can see that I'm now again logging with my token. I was logged out, and now I will use the git push this command, set upstream. Now you can see that I have pushed this feature one branch to my remote repository, and now we must see this branch here on our branches list in our GitHub account. So you can see we have this feature one branch and it is active. So now again, if I go to the code option, and I must see now two branches here. So feature one had recent pushes 58-second go, and now you can see we have these two branches. Similarly, I want to now, for instance, git branch, and now I will check git status, and I am already on feature one branch. Now I will switch to git branch, git checkout release this branch. Now I am at release 1.01 this branch. Now I will use this command to push my release branch to my remote repository. So I will just need to have the token. Make sure that you watch my previous lecture how Git works. Now guys, you can see that I must have another branch. Each branch has the content of master branch. Now again, for practice, if I am at now release branch, now git state git branch, and now I want to switch to bug 1.0 branch, git checkout this branch. Now git status, I want to push this branch to my remote repository. Now I can push using this command, set upstream origin. This is actually the command to push our local branches from our local repository to our remote repository. Now we can refresh again to see if we have all these branches that we created on our local repository on our remote repository. You can see that I must have these branches. So for instance, I have now this branch. So this branch is also up to date with master. Now in total I have 4 branches here. So guys, if I want to delete any branch, for instance I want to delete the feature one branch, simply click on this trash button and the branch will be deleted. You can see it is deleted. Now let me refresh again. So we must have this branch deleted. Now you can see that we have this branch feature one has been deleted, and if I check on code, we should not find this branch anymore. So we have now only 3 branches. So that's how we can delete any branch from our remote repository. In order to remove this branch still exists on our local repository. And now for instance, if I want to remove or delete this branch from here, then I can use git branch -d capital D and feature 1. So that's how we can delete any specific branch, and the command is git branch with capital D. For instance, if I want to rename this feature 2 branch, then I can use this command git branch -m and feature 1 to feature 111. Now I can check git branch, and you can see our feature 2 branch has been renamed to feature 111. So git branch -m is the command to rename the branch name. For instance, this is bug 1.0. I can rename it to Git Branch -m, and this your current branch name and your new branch name. So we can run git branch, then we can see that this has been renamed as well. So again, if I want to remove or delete, I just this is just for practice, git branch minus capital D and the branch name. It will delete the branch. Now I can check, and these branches have been deleted. Now guys, we have these branches. Okay, now I want to merge this branch and this release branch and bug branches into master. So I have these two branches, bug branch and release branch, and now I want to merge these branches into master. So what is the practice how we can merge two branches into master? I can go in git checkout master, and then I can use git merge. Since I am merging bug and release branch into master, so I can use git merge command, then branch this and release 1.01 this. So it is saying that the master branch is already up to date. So let us change something in git branch, git status. I'm at master branch. Now I will use git checkout, and I will create a new file, touch new file dot t, and nano new file. I will create some changes. The changes have been done. Now I can check git status, and I will commit this. It would be committed into this branch. Okay, now this branch would be ahead, one commit would be ahead from our master branch. And I'm just fixing some error on this branch, let us suppose, and git add and git commit -m testing merge. So now I will check the git status, and it is working clean. Now I can switch to git checkout master and git status. Okay, we are on our master branch. Now I want to merge these two branches, git branch bug 1. This git merge this our first branch and git merge the second branch. Now you can see that we have our new file .test, and it has some 5 insertions, and that's how we have merged one branch and the second branch into the master branch. We can merge one single branch. Now again, let us do this for practice. Git checkout and this branch. Okay, now I will create again a new file. So something is happening on release branch. Nano new again file .txt and change. I have made this change. Okay, and git push. Let us push this to release 1.01 branch. So git add this, git commit -m new change, and now I will push it to the release 1.01 branch. So you saw that I have pushed the changes in my release branch. Now if I refresh, you can see that release branch had some recent pushes out, and now this branch is ahead, one commit ahead of master branch. Now I want to merge this release branch with my master branch, so I can use I will first check where I am at release. Now I will uh, git checkout master. Okay, now I'm at master git status. Now I will use git merge and the branch name, so it will merge release 1.01 into master branch. So I have merged this branch release into master branch,